Well, thanks for stopping by the 33 Kings studio to hang with your old buddy Uncle Jay. Now, we had a previous episode where we talked about Bearilla, a.k.a. the Wolfman, werewolf, what have you. But now here's a story that really gets into the edge of things. In 1983, a family set out on just a regular what would be a camping trip, and later were found by park rangers only to be torn to shreds. Now, was it a bear attack, a big cat attack, or was it the Wolfman, the Dogman, a werewolf? Well, in many cases, one would think, probably an animal attack. But by the gruesomeness of this, well, led authorities to really think it could have been something else. So grab you some popcorn or a nice little snack, pizza rolls, whatever you got handy. Grab your favorite blanket and sit back with Uncle Jay as we talk about the Dogman. The land between the lakes is a national recreational area, 171,280 acres. Now, this is between Kentucky and Tennessee, between Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake, and was designated a national recreation area in 1963. Well, spring has finally sprung, and for one Florida family of four, well, that means hitting the road in the RV camper and going to one of their favorite places, and that's Kentucky Lake. But what they were about to encounter was unlike anything that community has ever seen, so legend goes. And once the family got settled in, well, the mother was in the kitchen preparing the evening meal, and the dad was outside cutting some firewood for the evening campfire. Well, the kids were playing as usual. It was a boy and a girl, and it was reports say that the boy was around 11 years old and the girl was around 7 or 8. Now, legend has it that park rangers discovered the grisly scene and reported that the father, that had been outside chopping wood, had tried his best to fire his weapon, which was a 12-gauge shotgun. However, the shot seemed to only hit the ground, and he was split in two all the way down. Now, they reported that on the inside, the little boy was, ripped to shreds, and the mother had tried to flee and locked herself in the camper bathroom only to have the door ripped to shreds, and she was also killed as well. Now, upon the discovery of the little girl, which had tried to get away, she was found several hundred yards up in a tree, and she had been disemboweled. Well, all right. Now, this is how stories get started, and people get all excited about, ooh, there's a wolf man, a dog man out in the woods, and we need to go look and check and see. But unfortunately, no, this story is actually an urban legend. It's not true. It's been perpetuated by the community all these years. There's no police reports, no park ranger reports, and, well, there's no reports of a family of four going missing from Florida at the land between the lakes in Kentucky. But however, there are more Dogman sightings. And I realize that this did not take place in Appalachia, but the Dogman is a legend in Appalachia, or the Wolfman, werewolf, if you will. And we're going to take some more looks at some more stories about the Dogman, because I'm really curious. What are all these people seeing? And by the way, if you don't mind, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for hanging with Uncle Jay. With any kind of detective work, you want to kind of start at the beginning if you can. Well, the Dogman gets its start in Michigan. And while Michigan's famous for a lot of things, one of the biggest is Al Capone's allegedly haunted hideouts. But one of the most popular stories is the Michigan Dogman, a human-like creature, approximately 7 feet tall, with the body of a man and a dog's head that walks upright on its hind paws. According to most of the eyewitness reports of the creature, the Dogman is a werewolf-like creature, between 6 and 7 feet tall, that walks upright like a human on its hind paws. It has the torso of a man and the head of a wolf or a dog, and the most haunting detail of the many sightings is his eyes. Many have claimed to see the glow in the dark, the bright blue, red, or the amber color. Well, if a creature like that is hiding in northern or lower Michigan, well, that'd be a good area. Well, because most of it is the Huron-Manistee National Forest. However, the sightings are scattered all over the state, including the Upper Peninsula. However, the majority seem to be centered in the northwest part of the Lower Peninsula. The legend may have its origins further back than that. Now, while there's no documentation, some claim sightings of the beast go back farther than 1887, to a time when the Ottawa Native Americans lived in the area. Now, perhaps it's just a stretch on already established Native American legends like the Sasquatch or the Wendigo, but it really seems that no one quite knows for sure. Now, while it seems that, well, the Dogman seems to be rooted in Michigan history, well, it's rooted in Appalachian history, too. Now, normally I usually forget to tell anybody, any of my viewers, that, well, if you have any stories of the paranormal, anything that you'd like to share and you'd like Uncle Jay to cover, we'll send it in. Now, fortunately, we done a show prior called Bearilla. Now, this prompted some viewers to send me a story that they had. Now, this story comes from Wolfe County, Kentucky. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched any of the Mountain Monsters series, but these guys done a show looking for the Wolfman. But anyway, these two guys sent this in, and we're not going to use their names or anything, but we are going to use the location, like I said, Wolfe County, Kentucky. But now these are two brothers. Now, these two brothers, well, they'd been hunting on this land ever since they were young kids. Now, most of the time, every year, they set up their trail cameras and stuff, and, well, they do use deer management skills. And they really love harvesting the meat, and they feed it to their families. Now, these two brothers, well, they'd been watching this big monster buck that'd been on their property for several months. Anyway, when deer season came in, the two brothers, well, they decided to strategically catch where this big buck was coming in. Because sometimes they didn't know whether he was going to come in on this side or he was going to come in on this side. But they was going to make sure that they was going to get him either way. Because he was older. And, well, that's what you do. You have to manage the herd. Well, anyway, early in the morning, well, one brother, well, he finally saw the monster buck, and he took him. Now, after they field dressed the buck, they brought him up, put him in the truck, in the bed of the truck, closed the tailgate. Now, the two brothers, they'd been out there ever since about, well, daybreak. And anyway, the story goes that it was about 1 o'clock in the day. Well, they decided before they left, hey, both of them had to use the restroom. So they were two brothers, so they just stepped up at the front of the truck and stood side by side talking about how great it was that they got this big guy and what a trophy it was going to be. when all of a sudden they felt the truck lunge forward. To both of them's surprise, when they turned around, they saw a big wolf-like creature reaching into the back of the truck, grabbed the deer and threw it over its shoulder and went off into the woods. Now, the two brothers, they were so surprised by this, well, they wasn't even thinking about running for their guns because, hey, if they'd run for the guns that was behind the seat of the truck, what if the creature turned on them? Anyway, folks, be careful. It's getting springtime, and you really never know what's in the woods. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and, well, I'll tell you what. Thank you very much for hanging with Uncle Jay, and we'll see you.